It's Dew Time with Pastor Steph.
Good morning, and good morning. Rise and shine. You're on with this Dew Time with Pastor Steph. How are you this morning? That's what I like to hear. That's what I like to hear. For this is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So, where were you yesterday? Yesterday was Wild Wednesday, and we had our girl Vivian with us and her socially conscious segment. And she talked about the New York City housing court that's creating a fast track for major problems for tenants. Yep, whether it's heat, hot water, gas, elevator, whatever it is, you can go into the courthouse, file a complaint, and it gets addressed the same exact day. And they're trying to make sure that your situation is resolved within 5 days of your complaint. Now, the landlords are not feeling this too much. Why? Because on the flip side, when they have a tenant that's problematic and they need to evict, or they have a tenant who's problematic because they're not paying their rent, they're not getting fast tracked. No. And it's the same old with rights and, them sticking around for months and sometimes years before landlords can put them out. And the landlords are not feeling this. No, they're really not trying to hear that their problems with fast track, but the landlord's problems don't. So I don't know. Hopefully they'll find a balance. Well, New York City is complaining about the city bike rates. Yep, they have $239 membership per year, but they still must pay $4.99 for a rental, and that's 30 minutes and 40 cents for any additional minute. Now, we discussed yesterday that after paying membership, that is kind of high. And they're saying even those electric bikes and scooters that they have, and all of this is trying to, take some weight off of the congestion and drive people to either get on public transportation or rent one of these bikes. But it's just expensive. So it is very much that they're becoming disenchanted, and they are really looking for a break in this cost that is, that they're expected to pay. Now, New York City again is on the list. The Van Wyck Expressway has been, forever, decades where the Van Wyck has been worked on, and it's still not done. Well, they're now adding, starting 2030, a $4 billion, 1.5 mile section of the BQE. They say 130,000 vehicles per day go through that BQE, and it's going to take, 10 years to get it done. Can you imagine waiting 10 years for the BQE to get done with a 1.5 mile repair or renovation or reconstruction? That's a long time. That's a really long time. So I don't know, maybe they'll redesign this thing and it won't take 10 years and people can get back to their normal way of traveling, or the normal route of that they normally travel. Well, the wild story of the day: a Maryland woman decided to prank her husband using AI. She made him believe that there was an intruder in the home, and she called him and told him so. And somehow or another got AI to make it look like, this was the thing. And unfortunately, he took to calling the police. Well, 8 cruisers showed up, 16 police officers showed up, only to find out that there was no intruder. There never had been. So now she's going to have to pay a $1,000 fine for this behavior and this prank. And people are feeling like, hey, that's not enough money for what she cost that town to spend when they ran to her house. And all because she had gone on TikTok and found a challenge that she wanted to participate in. Can you imagine? You, a grown woman, are going for a TikTok challenge? No, honey, leave that to the children, because that there is a little too much. Well, that's how we spent our Wednesday. Well, today is Therapeutic Thursday. Yep, the day we talk about our health, whether it's physical health, mental health, emotional health, spiritual health, financial health. We're talking about it. And the Due Time crew knows how to get that done in any shape, form, or fashion. Okay? So we're on our way out of here for this week. And we're on the other side, and we're closer to the weekend, which is closer to the end of the month. Yep, this is our last weekend in August of 2026. And I don't know where this year has gone, but it is going. And it's almost gone. So let's get this party started. Go ahead and get that healthy breakfast. Go ahead and tell somebody, anybody, everybody that it's Due Time with Pastor Steph is on. And whatever you do, don't go anywhere, because we will be right back.
Is realizing that I'll keep it to myself mindset is no longer acceptable. That hurting in silence and allowing yourself to implode can no longer be tolerated. Speaking up is love. Asking for help is love. Having people in your life that genuinely care about you, and not just the people or the friendships that you created for distractions or entertainment, but people in your life that actually show up when you need them. Healing is letting people in. Healing is knowing how to say that I am not okay and not feeling embarrassed because of it. That silence was never strength. It was survival mode. So you have to understand that you have to be willing to choose differently. You have to choose the spaces that feel safe. You have to choose people that consistently check in, and not the people that check out because they feel like you're always doing too much. You have to choose community over isolation, connection over self-sabotage. The more you speak up, the more you free yourself. That's healing. That's love. That's growth.
It's this camera. All right. Good morning. I got to get this camera under control. It's looking crazy over here on my side. But I want to say good morning to each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me this morning for Therapeutic Thursday. Yes, did you hear that PSA? Yeah, yeah, that's for real. That's for real. So I'm looking a little cockeyed, and y'all gonna have to bear with me a little bit this morning so we can get this. Oh, that's not good. Ah, well, we having such difficulty today. Let's see if we can get this going. It's not good. All right, we're gonna have to do the best that we can right here. Ah, it's time to say good morning to the Due Time family. So if you're in the room, please let me know so we can say good morning to one another. Oh, we got a check from our girl Kitty. Hey, Kitty, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We have a check-in from Miss Grace. Hey, you up, bright-eyed and bushy tail this morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Glad that you're doing well. And we have a check-in from our girl, Lady Tanika. And we are definitely at the point where we say good morning to the ladies that help us hold it down each and every day. Let's say good morning to our girl Shantice. Hey Shantice. Let's say good morning to our girl Anika. Hey Anika. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Well, it's our health benefit morning. We get our health tip. And I came across something that I was really interested in. And this is something I don't think we've ever done in the 6+ years. We're talking about oranges. Oh, excuse me, oranges this morning. The benefits, the health benefits of oranges. And I believe we've been underestimating oranges for a while. Yeah, I think so. Alrighty. So, we always talk about the fact that oranges are great for our immune system and the vitamin C. That's something that we know. That's something that we know. But we're about to find out a couple of other things about oranges. So, they say that oranges are a huge support regarding our immune system. And they say the immune health is really not just about covering colds and things like that. Our bodies have to be resilient against everything. Everything, the things we eat, the things we smell and absorb through our nose, everything. Our health has to be covered completely. Our immune system, it really helps our bodies. And the immune system is definitely helped by vitamin C, which they say helps with the cell formation and how the cells function. And it contributes to our collagen production, which keep our skin and tissue strong. They always say, black don't crack. Yeah. All that stuff is contributing. Our immune system contributes to that. And vitamin A is also a part of oranges and that whole immune system. And it helps us with our skin and mucous membranes, flavonoids that regulate inflammation so that our immune system doesn't become overactive. It's a balancing act. I just got finished talking about that. And they say that, all of these things have to work together. Now, oranges versus orange juice. Now, we always hear this battle against should you drink the juice or should you just go ahead and eat the fruit? Well, they say this comes down to the fiber. And we know that if you're eating your orange, you're definitely going to get the fiber. You may not get the fiber uh, if you're drinking it. So they say whole oranges contain fiber that slows our digestion, supports our gut health, and helps with satiety, meaning that it'll help us stay full longer. Slower digestion leads to steadier blood sugar, which is why the semaglutide family, that Ozempic and Wegovy and things like that, work because it slows your gut down. And because of that, it absorbs the blood sugar that's in your system. Well, whole oranges actually help to get that done quicker. Now, if you drink orange juice, they say it absorbs quicker and raises your blood sugar faster because it's going straight down. So there's nothing to help hold anything in your gut. Now, they say the chewing of whole oranges actually kickstarts the digestive process. Wow. They say it signals the body to release the enzymes and prepare for food. So it sounds like to me that we need to be eating oranges kind of the first thing in the morning. They say that the fiber acts like an anchor to the blood sugar and prevents spikes and crashes. Now, juice moves that fiber, and 1 cup of freshly squeezed juice can contain sugar of several oranges without the same blood sugar effect. Wow, nice. So eating oranges is better than drinking orange juice. So they have confirmed that orange juice contains less fiber because, again, it's in the skin and all of that kind of stuff. So you're really not getting the best of that. Now, oranges, of course, contain natural sugar, but nutritionists encourage pairing oranges with other foods such as tuna, chicken, eggs, and avocado to help to slow the absorption of the sugar. So oranges and nuts, Greek yogurt, chia seeds, that will also help to stabilize our blood sugar. Again, that's pairing oranges with tuna, chicken, eggs, avocado, nuts, Greek yogurt, chia seeds. That's a lot. That's a lot of options to pair those oranges with. Now, they say that carbs are an essential energy source, which is why when we don't eat as many carbs, when we start cutting back, our energy level gets depleted because carbs actually, even bad carbs, produce energy. But even though it's essential for the brain, those carbs definitely raise the blood sugar level. Yeah, because remember, it all breaks down into sugar, and that will allow you to feel sluggish as well. Okay. They say who benefits the most from eating oranges? Athletes and active people. They benefit from the combination of natural carbs, hydration, and the potassium that's in the orange. Okay. Older adults, and I have slowly walked into that, may benefit from the flavonoids that support cardiovascular health and circulation, along with nutrients that help protect eye health. So who would have thought that oranges work on the eyes? Okay. Kids and teens. Okay. They say get the immune support from oranges, and it definitely helps with not adding more sugar. Again, opposed to drinking the whole container of orange juice. Okay, they say children and older adults benefit due to more vulnerable immune systems. So adults and children have more sensitive immune systems and vulnerability. If you notice, when we do stuff like um, things that may contain E. coli or salmonella, they always say children and adults are always affected easier because of their immune systems. Okay. People with digestive concerns, they say may tolerate whole oranges well because of the fiber and the pectin, and those act as prebiotics. So if you're sensitive to fiber, smaller portions of orange juice is a better alternative. Smaller portions of 100% orange juice, not just orange juice. You just ain't gonna jump for the orange juice, okay? All righty. So they say nutritionists are definitely in the boat of encouraging us to eat more oranges. They say a citrus salad, which is chopped oranges, white beans, jalapeno, red onions, cilantro, and lime juice. Wow. Served over grain bowls or tacos. So grain bowls would be like quinoa or brown rice. That's interesting. I don't know if I'm running for that one though, y'all. Orange and avocado salads with olive oil, herbs, pistachios, and citrus zest. Sometimes topped with maybe some lean chicken is definitely a good way. Orange slices into grain bowls with salmon or tofu. Okay. They say blend a peeled orange into a smoothie with yogurt and ginger. Now that might be cool. That might be cool. Or pairing orange slices with yogurt and cinnamon for an easy dessert. All righty. So there you have it. You have your orange benefits and the way you can get more oranges in your system. All right. All righty. So we got some stuff to talk about today, y'all. Mm. So let me see if I got any comments. Oh, okay. So we got some check-ins here. Oh, thank you, Katie. I appreciate that. All right. She's also commenting on the PSA as well as our girl, Lady Tamika. So thank you so much. Emma, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. Emma says, I love this. Well, Emma, please make sure you subscribe and like and send it to a friend. Thank you so much for your support and joining us this morning. And we have, I believe that's X-Curse. Hello. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All righty. And we have to remember, be respectful, y'all. Be respectful to everybody who's on the show. All of our family in the chat room, please be respectful. All right. Let's talk about some stuff that's going on in the news. Now, we've got some updates today, and we have this young lady we talked about not that long ago, the Chicago woman that was accused of killing her boyfriend. Remember? You got to remember this one. You're going to have to remember this one. This was the couple who she was 8 months pregnant, and her and the boyfriend got to arguing about who was going to put the food in the microwave first. Yeah. Well, she's back in the news because remember, he's dead. So a quick recap. So again, they were arguing about who was going to put the food in the microwave first. And somehow it went from verbal to a physical altercation. And he pushed her up against the counter and slammed her head up against the cabinet a couple times. And he went in the room and laid down afterwards. and she went in with like a screwdriver or something like that and stabbed him in the leg, but hit an artery, and he later bled out. So she's been charged with his death. And, this was a big back and forth because it was a debate on whether it would be self-defense. Just so happened to have my shirt on today. No intent, just happened to have that on. But they had been called to that house about 50 times. Okay, so I got to do it this way. 50. 50, not 15, 50. 50 times. They had been called to that apartment back and forth for the melee. Back and forth for the domestic violence claims. And this is what it culminated to. So she, again, was in trouble with the law because of this. She accepted a plea deal that allows her to stay out of prison and return home to her daughter, her baby, because she did give birth to a little girl. But it leaves her with a felony. Yeah. I mean, you can't ask for more than that. You can't expect for your slate to be wiped clean as well. So Keisha Golden pled guilty to involuntary manslaughter and the death of her partner, Calvin Sidney. Now, she was sentenced to 24 months of probation. As part of the agreement, she has to complete 30 hours of community service and undergo regular drug testing. Now, I don't know why, because I don't remember her actually mentioning any drugs. And she will not have to register as a violent offender. Now, this is something that has really come to the surface recently, that if you are, if you've served time for certain felonies, you have to register as a violent offender. So we haven't heard about this for very long, but yeah, she won't as part of the plea deal. Now, she accepted the deal because she didn't want her daughter to have to endure a trial. So she feels like she did the right thing for the daughter. And the daughter, she feels that, you know what, every time I look at my little girl, I see Calvin all in her. And she's gotten out of a first-degree murder charge by doing that. So they say that she actually turned down a deal. This was not the first deal that she was offered. She had turned down another deal, and that would have required her to plead guilty to second-degree murder, and then she would not have received additional jail time, and she would have received 2 years probation still. But that second-degree murder that she would have pled to, although she wouldn't have had to do, like they say, additional jail time, just still the probation and I guess that community service business, you don't want to walk away with a second-degree murder charge, because she probably at that point would have had to register as a violent offender. Because how wouldn't you have? You said that you agreed to second-degree murder. Yeah, that wouldn't have gone very well for her. So that's why, because they claimed that her quality of life would have been affected. Oh, you better believe it would have been. Because again, they could not get this self-defense off the ground, because once he walked out of the kitchen, went in the room and laid down, he didn't have a weapon, they said. So now, pay attention, had it happened in the kitchen where he was slamming her head and pushing her into the cabinet, even though it would have been um, like a million times that they have actually gone to the house, it was still been self-defense. And that's where a lot of these people have lost out, because self-defense is like immediate. Anytime where there's a lapse of time between what they did and how you responded, that's premeditated. And that's what happened with the boy Carmelo. That's why he couldn't get the first the self-defense. Yeah. So I don't know, should she have been able to plead out at all? Because again, she does no jail time. She does no jail time. And she pled out to involuntary manslaughter. So let's see. Let's see what happens. Well, we have another update. Now, this one is a little, I don't know. I guess I'm going to let y'all talk about it, a little further, and then I'll really weigh in on it, because I got some thought here. Let me see if there's any let me see. Okay, so we do have some comments. We got a check-in from Pastor Brenda. Good morning, Pastor Brenda. How are you? We got a check-in from Serge. We've got a check-in from Renee Dawkins. Hey, thank you so much for joining us. We have a check-in from Catwalk, who says probation for stabbing, murder. What? Yeah. So listen, we're going to talk about it with the Due Time crew and see what they got to say, because Catwalk ain't going for the probation for stabbing. And I gotta tell you, I'll let you know how I feel as well. Beating her up and laps, the counts are crazy. Yeah. I'm telling you, these charges and things like that, times have definitely changed. So like I said, I'm gonna let you know whether I feel, whether this stuff is good or bad, in my opinion, when the Due Time crew weighs in. All right, we got another update. And this one here, I'm kind of scratching my head, y'all. Y'all help me know whether I should scratch my head. Y'all gonna scratch my head for me. I'm gonna scratch your head for you. I don't know, but this is kind of crazy, because we just got finished, I believe Monday, talking about the former deputy that was convicted of Sonya Massey's murder. He was sentenced to 20 years, and that was in 2024 that this took place, the killing. And remember, Sonya Massey is the one who called the cops to come help her, and somehow or another it went far left. And he thought that with the pot of water and with her calling on the name of Jesus, that she was threatening his life, and he shot her. Although there was nothing that was directed toward him directly. So he passed away. Now let's go back a little bit, because we got to go back to try to make sense of this story here today. So Monday, we talked about the fact that he had passed away. So when the murder happened in 2024, he had been suffering from cancer, and that was stage 3 cancer, I believe, from back in 2023. But he was still working, so go figure. So since the conviction, he walked into 2 other layers of stage 4 cancer, and he filed for I'm going to try to get the name, because I didn't have the name of this the other day, but him and his attorneys filed for what they call, I'm so sorry, y'all. It's something that it has a name where here it is. Joe Coleman Medical Release Act. And what that says is, I'm about to do a long jail sentence, but I'm real sick, and I should be able to go home to spend my last days at home opposed to dying in jail. Well, him and the attorney, you're right, him and the attorney put in for this act, but they were denied. So when he passed away, he did pass away in jail. Well, y'all gonna have to help me with this one, because Sonya Massey's family wants proof that he is dead. They feel that they were robbed of justice because he didn't serve the time that he was supposed to. And he was battling this advanced colon cancer and rectal. It was like 3 areas that it had actually spread to. And he died in jail. Now, they knew that he was ill at this stage. They knew that. And he had stage 3 from 2023. Or either they're saying that he was diagnosed in 2023 of that particular cancer, and by the time it got to like the court proceedings, that part was at level 3, stage 3. And as of the time he went to jail, other layers of cancer had attacked his body to stage 4. So they were pretty much aware. So they are upset because they're saying that they were not notified of the of the death the right way. So what happened was, a cousin of theirs heard about it on the news and called them and told them, the kids, Sonya Massey's kids, told the son and daughter about it, and they refused to believe it. And they wanted proof that he was dead. They want to see the body, is what they said. So they say that this is adding another layer of complexity to the case, and they don't feel comfortable or feel like they've received any satisfaction, because it doesn't represent the outcome that they were hoping for. As a matter of fact, the statement is, this is not what justice looks like to us. I don't think any Black American can achieve true justice. I think we got as good as we could get. Okay. True justice would be serving his full time, sick or not. Y'all gonna have to help me with this. Y'all gonna have to help me with this right here. He was found guilty. He was sentenced to 20 years. He applied for the Release Act, to get out, and he was denied. So they say that the medical records submitted said that his condition was irreversible and incurable. And that's one of the things that must be like true when you apply for this act. And the judge said no. So he did not, and we talked about this Monday, he did not get to spend time with his family during his death, and the family didn't get time to spend with him during his death. They are complaining that he died before he could serve even a fraction of his sentence. And his death now leaves the family confronting a different ending than the one they expected when they fought to keep him incarcerated. And I'm going to say before I move over to the next story that when you fought to keep him incarcerated, he was on the brink of death. Okay, let me see. So, Catwalk is active in this chat room. Thank you so much for talking back to me. She says, I'm hoping it's a she, I'm sorry. It's over. Prison doesn't take care of the sick. And that, to me, is what the blessing was. But I'm going to come back. I'm going to wait. I'm going to reserve my comments for after the Due Time crew talks. Oh, all righty. What time is it? Let me see what time it is. You know what? I got my millennials on with me today, and they gonna keep me chatting. Let's go, girl. You know what? Let's take Vivian first. Good morning, Viv.
Good morning. How are you?
I am well. Thank you. Still haven't gotten to that picture behind you. But I got one more day to get there, girl. God spares. But I am smiling. All righty. So we got some stuff to talk about, Viv, this morning. So we've got Keisha Golden, the woman who killed her boyfriend after the altercation when they couldn't agree and figure out, girl, who was going to put the food in the microwave first. And they got to pushing and shoving. He banged her head in the cabinet, pushed her against the counter. This is her account, because remember, he's dead now. He can't talk. And he went into bed, laid down, and she came behind him, stabbed him with the screwdriver in his leg, and he bled out because it hit an artery. She hit an artery. So she had two offers. The first deal that she was offered was to plead to second-degree murder, and she would not have to go to jail. She would just serve 2 years probation, I guess this community service and drug thing, and she could spend the rest of her life, unless she got into some additional trouble, outside. But it would have left her with a second-degree murder on her record, because that stays. That stays. It does not go anywhere. She turned that agreement down to one of involuntary manslaughter, where she still gets the months of probation, and she has to do the 30 hours of community service, undergo drug testing, but will not have to file and list herself as a violent offender. Now, the other one, she would have had to register on the second-degree murder. She would have had to register. Now, Catwalk is saying, you must be kidding me. How in the world do you get probation? What say you?
I agree. Because it wasn't self-defense if y'all had y'all little, pushing back and forth, and then he went to go lay down and you went into the room and stabbed him, and that ultimately caused his death. That's not self-defense. You killed him. So I agree. The fact that she got to get out and be with her child and have community service And that for her color too, the fact that she's on our side of the fence, that is crazy. I don't think she should have gotten it, to be honest. I think she should have served her time. But I'm surprised that they gave it to her. And the only thing that I can think of why they would do something like that is because at the end of the day, you did us a favor and you got one of yours up out of here. So they really don't care about that life.
Ooh, Viv. Wow.
So they weren't concerned about that life. So they let her go ahead, live her life with her child, and do a couple of hours of community service. That's insane. And it wasn't even an astronomical amount. They gave her a couple of hours of community service, drug testing, just because she black.
Right.
That's nothing.
Wow. Viv, do me a favor. We're in a double view. I need you to scoot over a little bit because you're cut off of the second view. So I can't
This
tell
way?
you no, the opposite way. Go the opposite way. Move your chair over. No,
This
not your
way?
camera. Right. Move you. Move over just a little bit more. Ah, perfect. We have we get a double view on YouTube, and we're cut off sometimes. So I'm kind of moving myself as well. Thank you, girl. You on to something. You're on to something. You're on to something. Now, I did not think about the fact that just because she's black, because I agree. I'm like, y'all never talked about her using drugs before, so
Right.
why we gotta? But you're right, because they want to try to fuel while we were at your house 50 times before you finally murdered him. So that makes a whole lot of sense. A whole lot of sense. Let's see what your girl Shantice has got to say. Good morning.
Okay.
Sorry. Good morning, ladies. How are you?
Good morning.
Well,
How are
thanks. How are
you?
you?
I'm fine, thank you.
All right. Catwalk and Viv say absolutely not.
Mhm.
This is ridiculous. What kind of nonsense is this for probation to be given, community service and drug testing given for murder? Whether it's involuntary manslaughter or if it's second degree murder.
Mhm.
What say you?
I say this is very similar to what we were discussing in regards to the Carmelo Anthony situation, where you sat and allowed so much to happen, and then you popped, and now my child. I have to be with my child. I want to be with my child. Now, of course, your defense attorney is pushing your child, your child, your child. Yes, your child. It was self-defense in the aspect of you was trying to make sure this didn't happen on another date. But at that time, you had time to think about this thing. And that's why you can't fall under the self-defense claim, because again, like it was stated, it's not like everything was happening at once and there was no time to really grasp a hold of common sense or to really think. But your thing was, it's the 7th, this ain't finna happen again on the 8th. It's already happened on the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, and it's 7th. I'm not waking up again to this on the 8th. But that was your fault. And the more I'm seeing this, the more I'm like, this is why when I'm mad, we're mad. Because this is the result of it. And for you to not serve any jail time is really ridiculous. It's not 1 year, not 1 year and you're on probation for 50, like nothing, like nothing. I understand the possibly being on a jury and hearing this and like, you know what, she was suffering from this domestic violence, she was suffering from this abusive relationship. So, even though she can't claim self-defense at that moment, it's like bullying. You didn't want to wake up looking forward to going to school to get bullied again. You didn't want that. So my heart definitely would have been easy on her a lot. I would have had a lot of leniency. But to not do anything, or as it was stated, okay, so you didn't get any jail time, then whatever you had to do out here would have been extremely strenuous. You would have been the first person to ever be sentenced to do anything like this. Whatever we had to make up, we had to make up something. You would have been the very first one, and we would have named this act after you. This would have been the Keisha Golden Act. You've been sentenced to the Keisha Golden Act. You now have to go and count every brick on every jail that's built. You now have to go and scrub you have to volunteer at this. Like, it would have been so strenuous, because regardless of the fact you did take someone's life, unfortunately, and you have to also send a message to other women who are choosing to put up with this and are not doing anything until they pop. Like, you have to send a message to those women. You can't sit around and wait until you pop, because this is what happens when you pop.
All right. Tamika says she did the crime, but she's not doing the time. No, she did it. And I agree with you, all of you. Okay. Been there, done that. Been there where you're in an abusive relationship, and it's like, no, this can't happen no more. You stabbed this man. He died. There has to be some form of repercussion. It has to be. And I get it. I get it. I walk the walk. I get it. You've gotten your justice in a sense, because he's dead. And he won't do it to you anymore. It's like, I'm gonna make sure he doesn't do it again. You've assured that. You've assured everybody, ensured the fact that it ain't happening no more. But you had time to think about that thing. So the time you spent to wait for him to lay down, and listen to me. Your mindset is not as simple as other people would see it as.
Mm-hmm.
Because you 8 months pregnant. First of all, I go back to when we did the story the first time. You already know you dealing with somebody you ain't got no business being with. If I'm 8 months pregnant and we fighting about who gonna eat first, you already in the wrong relationship. But we know you're also in the wrong relationship because the cops know y'all by name. They've been in your house 50 times. So we know you're in a wrong relationship. You, unfortunately, have not gotten to the point where you know you're in a wrong relationship, because you're going to keep this thing going. And she probably did snap. But the problem is the time you took to follow him after he had listen, he didn't had a whole chance to move from in front of you, go lay down, and then you followed him with the screwdriver. That's time that you can think.
Right.
Although your mind might be racing and you like, oh no, he ain't gonna do this no more, and I done took all I'm gonna take. No matter what was going on in your head, there was time for an alternative thought. And instead of you packing your bags, instead of you walking out the house, instead of you making a phone call, instead of you sitting down and turning on the TV, instead of you going in the bathroom and crying, instead of you breaking some dishes, you opted to pick up a screwdriver and go stab him. Now, here's the thing. It was a retaliation, because she didn't stab him in the chest. She didn't stab him in the heart. Are y'all following me? She
Mm-hmm.
intend to murder him. She stabbed him where? In the leg. Because I'm going to just stab
Mm-hmm.
you in the leg. And I'm going to let you know I'm not taking this no more. But unfortunately, you hit an artery, girl. So now your
Mm-hmm.
retaliation has now converted to murder. You did it. You did it. Because the same way you took to stab him in the leg, you could have stabbed him. So, could have stabbed
Mm-hmm.
the pillow or stabbed the bed. Let him know the next time you lay down, you may not get up.
Right.
There's still time, and that's what they're always going to lean on. So if
Right.
you bothered to give her a plea deal, then let her plead down to some type of punishment. Because 30 months of probation is not punishment. And I agree
Mm-hmm.
with Shantice. Y'all have not sent a message to the other women who are in
Mm-hmm.
this situation. Because guess
Mm-hmm.
what they don't think? Well, if I do it, I should get the same thing. She did. Opposed to sending a bigger message that, listen, we're going to punish those, even though, you got to burn in bed. You got to burn in bed. And he got the stabbed artery. All the same thing. Premeditated.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it was premeditated for 5 seconds, it was premeditated. And like I said, as a person who's been through an abusive relationship for a long time, yeah, she got over real easy. And I don't believe that it should have been that simple. All righty. Ladies, y'all gonna have to help me. Oh, wait. Tamika says, what's wrong with these men that go off to bed thinking that it's okay today? Oh, okay to lay his head down and go to sleep. I've always said that. It takes a brazen individual to do what they do and go and chill.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the other woman we did where he had been abusive to her and he went and sat and looked at TV with the grandson?
Yep.
And she blew his head off. Yo, stop thinking people gonna, because that switch does flip. It happens. And now she's left to deal with the consequences of it. But again, this is what happens when we accept this, ladies or gentlemen. There's some men who have been abused. This needs to be something that we need to think about. Don't stop pushing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Stop believing that you just gonna be all right.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, we have seen enough evidence that you ain't gonna be all right.
Right.
And whatever little retaliation could end up with big results. What happened to the one when she threw a stick of dynamite in the bed? Wasn't that your story, Viv?
Yes.
They had been arguing or fighting or whatever, and she threw the sticker. He went to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what pushes. I think that's what pushes, because it's like, wait a minute, you're calm and I'm enraged. It's like, in addition to everything you've been doing to me or we've been doing to each other, but you're just that chill. Like, you can go and eat a Pop-Tart, like you ain't just say and or do this. And I really believe that's what, because women think, obviously men don't. See, women think. And in addition to what you literally did, we're paying attention to all of the residual things that you do as well. Post the hit, post the verbal attack. And now you get to chill. I get to look at you chilling. Now you get this dynamite. Now you get the shotgun to the head. Now you get the knife to the leg. Because it's like, why do you get the life of luxury to be able to chill? Meanwhile, I'm left in a corner, putting myself in a corner because of what just, you know what I'm saying? Because of what just happened. Whether I allow it or not, I'm enduring this, and I go and punish myself post whatever literally just happened. And now you running off into the sunset chilling? Nah, Mm-mm.
You know, as you were talking, my head went to this is self-inflicted.
Hmm.
I'll tell you, hindsight is 2020. What we allow to happen, we can't be mad at.
Mm-hmm.
What we allow, we can't be mad at. Pastor Kale always says something like, "What you allow, you cannot change." Something to that effect. I'm sure I'm
Mm-hmm.
quoting him because that don't sound like it makes a whole lot of sense. When he says it, it makes a whole lot more sense. So somewhere along the line, I got this quote kind of off, but he talks about that all the time. You know, what you allow, you can't change. Something to that effect, and it's true. How you gonna get mad when he has done this to you numerous times and he's been allowed to walk off
Mm-hmm.
and chill? He's allowed to smooze you and have some makeup sex.
Mm-hmm.
He's allowed to come back and say, "I'm sorry, I won't do this no more."
Mm-hmm.
He's been allowed to come back and say, "See what you made me do if you didn't make me mad." He's been allowed to go away and chill and be with his boys and come back like nothing happened. Because let me tell you something, this ain't the first time y'all had to fight over who was going to eat first. This ain't no shock to you. Again, I'm 8 months pregnant with my first child. Now, I don't think, wait a minute. I think he did have another kid. Yes,
Mm.
he does. Because the tail end of the story, I believe, was the fact that the other mother, the old girlfriend, was mad that the ex-girlfriend was mad that she was allowed to kill him and get away with it.
Because she wanted to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
She wanted to do
Yeah,
it.
I'm almost positive this is the story because it's like real fresh in my head. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
She was mad she wasn't the one who was able to kill him and get away with it. That's
yeah,
what she really mad at.
yeah,
Because she probably dealt with it a lot longer
yeah.
and then finally got rid of him. Now he with you. He's doing it to you. Why were you the one who was able to kill him and now you don't have to suffer any consequence? If anybody was going to get away with murdering him, it should have been me.
Yeah, this here, um, you're right. You know, you do become resentful over the fact that he did, but that's because that ain't his first time at it, and you've
Right.
allowed it for 9 months. You've allowed it for 12 years. You listen. Think about the 50 times some people that made the trip to the house,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody got arrested. That's because neither one of you allowed the cops to see you hit one another.
Mm-hmm.
Once they see you strike the blow, you have to be arrested. Even if you strike the blow in self-defense, they have to arrest you. Now you work the other part out in court, but the assault they have to address right then and there. So now they done made 50 trips to your house, and for 50 times you've said, "Okay, you come back. Okay, I forgive you. Okay, we can do it over again. Okay." Now that's only the 50 times they showed up to the house.
Right.
That ain't the 100 times that it actually happened. So when you become resentful, because you will, that you looking over going and you're sleeping. Or here's a better one. You're eating food. My food that I just got finished cooking. Because you're just so sure that I haven't put something in it. I'm telling
Bravery.
you, these are the things that go
Bravery.
through your head. That's
Mm-hmm.
y'all are just real, real, real courageous. and assuming that this is going to be the way it happens over and over and over again.
Mhm.
All right, ladies, we're on to Sonya Massey's family. Now, ironically, we just got finished talking about this on Monday. Now, the daughter and the son, they did not believe that he was dead. They felt they wanted to see a body. They feel that this is not what justice looks like. This is not what justice looks like to us. I don't think any Black American can achieve true justice. I think we got as good as we could get. True justice would be serving his full time, sick or not. Let me see how else they also they said that he ultimately died before he could serve more than even a fraction of his sentence. So, Tamika asks, so what did they want? To unbury him and put him in a jail cell? I'm scratching my head. I'm scratching. All right, Shantice. Do you feel that their expectation was reasonable or unreasonable?
What did you want them to do? He was denied the request to be able to leave. That should show you right there that God was working in your favor. Because God could have allowed him to get granted access to come home, and something happened to him out here. While he thought he was taking a trip home from, the jail to pass away at home, something could have happened to him. He could have got jumped and never even made it outside of the gates. But God didn't even allow that. It was like, no, you ain't going nowhere. You stay right here. So now the man dies, as everyone knew. No one probably expected him to die as soon as he did, or pass away as soon as he did. But it sounds like you need to have a meeting with Jesus, because no one else could. Because I'm like, who had control over this? No, they didn't say they found out that the powers that be in there hid his medication from him, or they was playing hide and go seek with the meds or anything like that. So he passed away from natural causes, as it was stated he would, whether he was inside or outside. What was supposed to be done? Yes, you would have loved to have seen him rot in there, but there was nothing that they could do. The only one who had control over this, you probably don't even talk to on a regular basis. Go talk to him, and maybe he'll give you some insight as to why he allowed it to happen this way. Maybe he won't. But what are you gonna say to them? They had no control. The judge did his part, or her part. He or she responded to the notion. It was a no. That was the best you were going to get after him being sentenced. Most of these cops don't even get sentenced.
Right.
Don't make it to trial at all. There's no indictment. Body cam footage, everything shows it was him, it was her. They shot them. They did this, and they still walk away with desk duty, and they get to keep their pension and their income and all of that. So here it is. You were able to get the trial. You were able to get the conviction. You was able to get the sentencing. You were able to get the denial of him wanting to be with his family when he passed. There was nothing else that a human could have done. Nothing.
All righty, Viv. What say you?
I think their expectations were right, but I think their mental state right now is not okay, because they really believe in this conspiracy theory that he ain't really dead and y'all let this man out of jail. They're like, he died. They don't believe that. They really don't believe it. And that's the problem. They think that he's out and he's living his life outside um, of them bars, and that they've been duped. That's why they want to see a body. That's why they want confirmation that he's really dead, because I don't believe it. You guys let him out. That's the problem. That's the problem. And should they be allowed to see a body? No. Just take their word for it. You went to court to keep him in jail. You got your way. So what in this whole situation will make you think that they are actually playing against you, and they said no, he can't come out of jail, but then they really let him out of jail and he's still alive? Why are we here? Why are we here? The whole time everything has been going your way. Like Shanti said, he murdered her and he actually got locked up for it. He actually got found guilty for it. He tried to get out, you fought it, and you actually won. So why now are we here to where you think that they actually have him living outside of jail?
He's with Tupac and Michael Jackson.
I thought the same thing. I was like, this ain't Tupac. Pastor Brenda says, regarding the Sonya Massey issue, the cop is dead. He's already serving an eternal sentence. All righty. We have Catwalk that says, all of them rest in peace. Make sure you subscribe, Catwalk. Make sure you subscribe. We got Law. I'm just going to leave it right there. Good morning. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you. We have, are you talking about Carmelo Anthony? No, you missed that yesterday. Yesterday, Carmelo Anthony. No, you missed that one yesterday. Go back to yesterday's episode. Boy, did we have a conversation about that thing. So you're going to enjoy that, cat. Oh, Sonya Massey. Yeah, I feel bad for the cop and Sonya. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Imagine going to a house call and getting a mentally ill person has to be tough. It does. And we don't even want to begin. That's why, so you can pay me to be no cop.
Who was the mentally ill one though?
Imagine calling the cops and getting a mentally ill person coming to your
right.
door.
That's why I'm like, right. Which one was the mentally ill one?
That's why I said I would want to be a cop, because can I tell you that a lot of these people, they go through this psychological evaluation and they still end up on the street like with the other psychos. I agree with both of y'all. Everybody's psycho. And you even more psycho because you don't know what to expect. You don't know what to expect. And that's why I want to just make it home and blah, 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 blah. Because this here, even if you are psychologically okay, I don't want to go out here to these crazy people. And I'm not even talking about the mentally ill only. I'm talking about just a whole gamut of, you couldn't pay me enough to be no cop these days. They are very unstable as police officers, and they are meeting a lot of challenges out here that they are not trained for, that they cannot be trained for. They are not going to school to deal with the mentally ill. So whether they're mentally ill or whether they're okay, you really don't know how to deal with nobody who's mentally ill. You're not trained for that. Which is why you've gotten these suggestions that before they go out on a case, if they know that there's some mentally ill issue, a mental illness, that they take like social workers or people who are into being handling the mentally ill, because it's a lot. It's a lot. Imagine being Sonya Massey, who thought I was calling somebody to protect me. And she ends up dead. So let me see some of these comments that's popping up in here. Alrighty. Sonya was clearly the mentally ill person going through an episode. Did you watch the full body cam? Yes, I did. Mm-hmm. I don't know about the ladies. Did you?
I did.
I didn't see it.
Okay, I did. She calls them over to her house about an event that never happened, and then was acting very strange and went to the store with a boiling pot of water. But they never claimed she ever motioned to She
Right.
never motioned to throw the water on them.
Right.
So how did she pose a real threat?
That pot was
His
already
biggest,
boiling.
right. His biggest issue was when she was calling on the name of Jesus and when she was saying all of those things. That's when he became afraid. Yeah. Ainsley says, good morning, Ains. Thank you so much for joining us. That's part of the reason to defund the police is to allow for trained people to handle mentally challenged individuals. Okay, agreed, says Law. Cops have a lose-lose job. They're not respected, so they get treated like trash and beaten down every day, and people have the audacity to say, shouldn't be a cop then, while those same people lose their minds over the smallest things. She grabbed it with both hands and turned towards them. That does not mean that, I'm sorry, that does not mean that I'm going to throw it on you. That does not mean that.
Well, what version was that? Because I saw when she was asked to go to the, she wasn't at the stove. She was asked to go to the
Go
stove.
turn it off.
Go turn it off. And then when she gets to the stove, now you get a little incited as if she went to the stove to grab the pot to throw at you after you asked her to go over there to turn it off. She goes to turn it off. You put your hand on your weapon as if you're about to disarm your weapon. And remember, they're trained. Once I take the gun out, I can't now put it back in a holster. I have to keep it out, pointed at you. Then that's when she started calling on Jesus' name. Because it's like, wait, what's going on here? You just asked me to come over here to turn the water off. Now I'm over here to turn the water off. And now you're acting as though I'm coming over here to use this to do something else.
I always had the question as to why they didn't turn it off.
Right.
That was always my question. And it has
them in there.
Right. And that's why I asked the they. One, keep your eye on her. Two, second person, go turn off the stove. I've never, right, good, bad, right, wrong, and different. That was always my question. My question was, it was the two of you with one woman. She didn't have an active weapon or anything like that. After a while, you kind of had to be able to sense that, you know, something may not be right here. So you asked her to go turn off the stove. At what point did you see her as mentally ill or mentally challenged or unstable or whatever the situation is? I'm not saying good, bad, right, wrong, or different now. That's nothing to do with it. I'm talking about looking at, after viewing this video, that was my question. I'm saying to myself, well, you're always standing like this. So at what point did anybody begin to feel nervous? So if y'all brought up the fact that we felt nervous after we sent her to turn off the stove, that's why my question was, even before you may have even thought she was unstable, why tell her to turn off the stove? There had to be a reason why you told her to turn off the stove. Now, I'm not saying they should have or shouldn't have. What I'm saying is, if you took the time to ask her to turn off the stove, just say, ma'am, I'm going over here to turn off the stove. Period. I never understood why. And it had nothing to do with the end result. Right. I was just wondering, I'm like, well, why y'all didn't turn off the stove? For some reason, you asked her to turn off the stove. Now, maybe because you didn't know what was in the pot or if it would start burning or whatever the situation is. For whatever the reason is, why didn't y'all, it's two of you there. So you're trying to sort out the story she's giving. You can't really figure out whether this is true story, false story, made up story. You're trying to assess the situation. So now as you're trying to assess the situation, somebody figures out there's something on the stove. I'm not sending you over there because already you could possibly pose a threat. What if you had in mind to throw the water on me? I'm not sending you there. So my thing was, the simplest thing to do was to go over and turn the pot off yourself. And then you hear all of this other, I thought she was going to throw it on me. But no, I'm sorry.
But
no.
I'm looking at it and she ducked.
Yes, at
So
one point, yes.
if she was gonna throw it, why would she have ducked down for cover with the pot? And from what I'm seeing, she was shot when she was ducked. So
Yeah.
there was no threat.
No, and before that, the police were called because she thought someone was outside of her house. Right? How y'all end up inside the house? I call the cops and I'm like, there's someone outside my house. I think I'm seeing someone prowling around my house, looking in my window. How you end up inside my house? I didn't say someone broke in. I didn't say, and the body cam showed her outside talking to them. So what was the reason for you ending up inside? What was the point in that? So she meets you outside because she felt she saw someone outside. So it's two of you. So even if one of you stayed with her and the other one canvassed the perimeter, and then you're asking her whatever questions, well, man, what made you think, okay, well, we circled around, we don't see anyone here. Are you okay? I'm fine. Okay. Y'all go about your business. How you now end up inside? See, things like this, none of it, in my opinion, none of this was meditated on enough. How you end up now inside the house? So now you're inside the house. She goes into the house. She didn't immediately go to the stove.
Right.
Right. That's why they sent her to turn
Right.
off the
So
stove.
somehow you end up coming into my house. You come into my house. I sit on my couch. You then ask me to get up off my couch to go to the stove to get a weapon, according to you. Because according to you, this hot pot of water is not a weapon. So you ask me. So now I'm sitting here hoping that you come in my house, even though I told you someone is outside. So now I'm hoping that you come inside. I sit down. Now I'm hoping that somehow you tell me to go over to turn this off or do whatever so that I can now throw it on you. It's like nothing was meditated on. None of that makes any sense. My question was always, how did y'all end up inside? What was the point of you coming inside? You weren't outside talking to her and heard some ruckus inside the house. None of that. How did y'all end up inside of the house? She was outside in her robe.
All righty. We got Brother Al who's joined us. Brother Al, we started off. Good morning.
Morning.
Thank you for joining us. We started off with the family who is like twisted now because he went to jail. He was sick when he went into jail. He was sick during the trial. And he went to jail. He was sentenced to 20 years. He went to jail. He started doing his time. He ended up becoming more ill. And he and his lawyer filed to get him out to be able to spend time at home with this illness opposed to dying in jail. He was denied. Now the family is upset because they said that he didn't serve but a fraction of the sentence, and they have not really gotten justice. This is all that they could have gotten, so forth and so on. And we're trying to figure out, well, what was the expectation? They said that after we tried to keep him in jail, after we worked that's what he said. After working at keeping him in jail, he ended up dying without serving a whole lot of time. So we got let me put my glasses on.
There you go. Now you can see.
What was that? I'm so sorry. I don't know what I was calling you. I surely wasn't saying Jew. So what happens when you try to be grown and try to do it on your own? I'm so sorry, Jew. So Jew entered the room and he started bringing up some points. So we were talking about the actual event and what led, quote unquote, to her death. So I want to go back to that part of the story today, because ironically we just got finished talking about this on Monday about the fact that he had died, and now we're dealing with the response from the actual family So how would you say? Well, how would you respond?
I'm trying to remember the story. I remember hearing bits and pieces. So what crime did this guy do to go to jail in the first place?
Oh, okay. So you don't know about the Sonya Massey case, about the
No.
ill woman. They went to her home and found, some mental illness was going on, and there was some. What? Too long to explain. Okay. Wait. All right. So you sit still for a minute.
Okay. Good. I gotta plug my computer up anyway. It's dying. I'll be right back.
Okay. So let me finish reading Drew's comments. Okay, so she's a mentally unstable person. How do you know what she was or wasn't going to do? You're right. We can only look at the video like everyone else has and go by what we saw. We don't know anyone's mental intent. We just got finished talking about that with the other chick, how she was mentally unstable and went and stabbed the guy after he was beating her up. He didn't think she was going to do anything either. But unfortunately, he did. And now it cost him his life. You have hindsight, you don't, it's like it's a live drill. You're absolutely right. I agree with you. But as trained officers, you should take more precaution. There should be more precaution taken. It was still two of you. So let's say, for argument's sake, she would have motioned to throw the water. First of all, however she would have motioned at that time she posed the threat. Right. She did not pose the threat standing with the water. It wasn't a gun.
Under the counter.
Right. It wasn't a gun.
They had to come over. They had to come around the counter.
Right. He did.
Because she was ducked down.
Right.
That position does not scream threat. And it's your job as a police officer to determine a threat. This does not say threat to me. The fact that I have to come around the counter to shoot you while you're ducked down does not show you're threatening my life or my well-being.
No, and it's not a gun. It would almost be like if she was standing there with a knife. She never picked up and the person didn't pick up and motion to throw the knife at you. She was just standing there with the knife. So technically, she does not pose a threat with you who have a gun. I'm not talking about police and all that. There's certain times we've got to kind of, you're right. The point you're making, Drew, is right. But you got to look at it from the other side of the fence as well. Do you have a person standing there that technically they don't pose a threat? Well, here's the funny part. The other cop didn't shoot.
Right.
Other cop was
he said, what were we supposed to do? What do you mean we?
Right. He didn't shoot. So clearly somebody thought it was a threat and somebody thought it wasn't a threat. So of course you've got this double-minded thing because the two of you are there, but you clearly don't see the same thing. You don't feel the same thing. And with her not having a gun, there is no real threat there. Not with no hot pot of water. I'm not even talking about the fact that she was down, even standing upright. When she never motioned to throw it, she did not pose a threat. She didn't. Let me put it to you this way. You hear Shanti say a lot of times when I would be hitting her, she was kid. I would go to hit her.
Make sure you said that was 50 years ago. Don't get locked up. Don't get locked up.
I said this a long time ago. She 40, y'all. She 40. What was the rule? The rule was put your hands down.
I wasn't allowed to defend myself.
Put your hands down. Because even if you put your hand up to block your face, you posed a threat. I didn't know whether your intent was to block your face or whether your intent was to swing. So therefore, put yourself in a neutral stance, hands down. Because at that point, you do not pose a threat. Now, I'm untrained at this point, a young mother at this point. Now, I can determine that hands down poses no threat, I'm sorry, then that same pot of water is where her hands were. Down. It was no threat. Because I used to tell, don't put your hands up. Don't put your hand up. I don't care. If I'm aiming for the face, then just let me slap the face. I'm just telling you right now. Because if you put your hand up, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know what you're about to do. That should be the mentality. I'm serious. That should be the mentality. This is why we can't say that her just standing there, hindsight or present sight. So you asked her to turn off the water. She decided to pick up the pot. That does not mean throw. She gonna throw it at me. So I'm still stuck. Right? I'm still.
I'm listening to you guys, right? So it sounds like when people are not looking at it, sounds like a setup. If I'm sitting on the couch, it's two of us, and you say, okay, whatever's going on with this woman, one of the cops could have went over there and turned the stove off.
That's what I said.
You didn't have to get her up. Now here's another thing too. Okay, with the law. Okay, she went and she picked up the hot water. It does become a weapon, whether we like it or not, because you can throw that on and scald me. Anything that can harm me is a weapon. That's what it is in the law. So now, first of all, you got her up. You told her go over there. If you felt threatened, why didn't you just tase her? Why you had to shoot and kill her?
I don't care what you say, Al. What law? Show it to me. Show it to me.
When a cop feels threatened, if somebody pick up something, they will shoot. I could be outside and pick up a rock. That is now considered a weapon.
Right. You're right. It's considered a weapon. Right. But has the weapon been formed against me? There's a question. You're absolutely right.
But here's the thing. Just like what you just said. You look at it this way here. With Shantice, you said we used to, give her, I would say it properly, you used to give her spanking. You would say, don't put up your hands, because if she put up her hands, you looked at it like she might swing or she might, I don't know what she's going to do when she put her hands up. So the cop is looking at it the same way. Okay, she picked up this water. I don't know if she's going to throw it at me or not.
But what was the stance, Al? What was the stance?
Wait, hold on. You sent me to the stove. Everybody doesn't deal with things at the stove the same. Or at the same time, there's times I'll go to turn something off on the stove. I may move the pot from one eye to the next. I don't only turn off the fire. There's other times I'll just turn off the fire. You don't know me. So you don't know what that looks like for me to turn off a pot of water. I could be taking the handle of the pot, turning it off, but moving it to another eye. You don't know that. So all of this goes back to you sent me.
Right.
To go to the stove. A stove has always been hot. Before there were policemen, there were hot stoves. Okay? So with the water boiling, that means the water is hot. The water, and I don't know if they could tell that the water was hot, because she could have just put the pot of water on when they got there. So the water couldn't have been all that hot. But you're going to automatically assume that it's hot. But you sent me. You sent me there. All I'm hearing is a bunch of scared people taking on these jobs. If I'm a cop and you pick up a rock, and I have a taser and a gun, and my first recourse is to pull out this gun, you too scared to have this job.
Absolutely. I agree.
A gun should not come out because of a rock. Stop taking these jobs if you just want to make it home safe. There is no making it home safe as a cop. There's no making it home safe as FDNY. There's no making it home safe as an EMT. You sign on to these jobs knowing that there's a chance you will not make it home. So this is not the job for you. You sending these scared little boys and little girls out to into these environments, and because they're scared, you know what the training they're getting? Pull your weapon out. That's as far as the training goes, and they've said it. We're trained that if you blink too hard, We are to now pull our weapons out, and once we pull them out, we are told we cannot put them back. So I can't pull my weapon out at you and then be like, okay, I overreacted, my bad, and put it back in the holster. No, I have to now see this through. And unfortunately, seeing it through means shooting you.
All righty. We have Pastor KL in the room. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. How everybody doing?
We're good. You just walked into the middle of two different conversations.
Yeah, I see. I had to get on because I had to defend the child abuse, but I heard something else too. So
Listen, she made it to 40. She ain't got no bruises, no nothing. She all right. So what did you want to say on the other side?
She has bruises now. She just has mental bruises that's on the inside.
Now, I got the mental bruises.
To make it to school safe.
All see sweater in the winter.
What you got, Pastor KL?
I'm in agreement with Shantice. You know, we have a whole lot of people who didn't think this job through. You know what I mean? I a lot of them wanted it for the power, for the, all that stuff, but they're scared. You know, a lot of folks, they're doing it for the prestige, but they can't carry this stuff out. You know, and they're just scared little boys and girls, and they're not giving you enough adequate training to get over the fear. You know, once you're afraid of something, you're afraid of it. I don't care if you say you're afraid of snakes and they keep on putting you in a room with snakes, it's hard to get over that. You know, we have a bunch of people that's not trained properly, and that's scared of their job. As long as they're riding in the car, they're fine. The uniform doesn't pose a threat. You know, it's the people that pose a threat. It's the us's that pose a threat. You know, so yeah, that's ridiculous.
You know, here's the problem. So you and Shantice say that you say it one way. Let me put it because I can't remember exactly what was said. My thing is, and you kind of touched on it, Pastor KL. I personally go to, y'all didn't anticipate what you're facing. Like I've said, I'm not going to be no cop because what's out there is too unpredictable. It's noble and nice to want to be a cop because we do need people who are courageous enough. We do need people who, with the proper training, can definitely help to resolve and dissolve problems on the street, to catch the people who are committing crimes. We need this. But is everybody who signs up really, really ready? You know, in the earlier part of this conversation, we talked about, Drew entered with, Sonya Massey was the mentally ill person. Shantice and Viv said, the mentally ill is not going out to handle the mentally ill. And in all honesty, if you get technical, it is true. Because if you now put this uniform on, you get this gun, you get this training, and now when you go out, your thought is, I just want to make it back home. Do you realize what that mindset says? That means that for some, not everybody, but for some, that could possibly mean I'm going to do whatever it is I need to do to make sure I get home.
Exactly.
We can't say that that's not what they mean, because that's what they say. And if I say, no matter what happens, I'm going to school this morning, because I had to have said that when I didn't miss one day.
Will you be quiet? It's making me mental.
That's child abuse right there. That's child abuse.
No matter what, I'm getting out here and I'm going to work today. I don't care what y'all do. I don't care what happens in this house. I'm going to work today. That means that no matter what, I'm getting out here and I'm going to be at that job. Now, I may not be there at 9 o'clock. I might get there at 10:30. But no matter what happens, I'm getting to that job. We have to go with what these people are saying. And for me, that's some level of mental illness. That's some trauma that you have experienced out there in those streets that now have made you scared for your own life, which you should be. There's people out here crazy.
But you know what? You know what? On that note, I mean that makes sense. Like I left my house. I'm at an airport right now, and of course my prayer is, Lord, bring me back the same way that I can. Make sure my house is the same way. I left it. Every day as a civilian, I just want to make it back home. You understand what I'm saying? I'm sure Brother Al with some crazy children at his job, he just wants to make it back home every day. This is the life that we live now at this point. With everything that's going on in the world. We just want to make it back home. That's one of our prayers. Before we leave the house, Lord protect us, cover us. The prayer that you pray. Keep my house, keep my children, keep my children's children. At this point, we have to pray. I just want to make it back home.
And it's true. It's very true.
We have to stop. One of the things that's been standing out to me a lot is honesty with yourself and with Jesus. And like Pastor Steph said, this is why I couldn't be a cop. Because you can't be a cop with the on-site mentality. Right. It's on-site. You can't be a cop with a hostile mentality. You cannot be a cop when as Pastor Steph was talking, I was thinking about Martin and Bad Boys 2. When Will Smith was mad because Martin just wanted to diffuse every situation. And Will Smith was like, listen, I need to know that in the heat of a hostile situation, if someone has a gun on me, you going to shoot. And he was like, I will, in the leg. And he's like, no, they trying to take my life. And he's like, listen, everybody deserves some dignity. And he's like, no, we talk about in the middle of what could possibly be a shootout. I need to know you got my back. Well, Martin was on the end of, I know that as cops, we have to be hostile at times, but for my mental stability, I need to learn to be a lot calmer, even in hostile situations. And it wasn't necessarily that Will Smith just wanted to start shooting people on sight. But Martin was like, I needed to be a little more longevity when it comes to when we're in these environments, dealing with these criminals, dealing with suspects, so on and so forth. And you know you better than anyone. You know what you can and cannot deal with. We, as Pastor Steph keeps saying, we know what we're meeting out here on a daily basis. As Pastor Kale is saying, as a civilian, as a law-abiding citizen, you have to leave your house knowing this is why I don't leave my house. Because I have to be mentally prepared to get on a bus. I have to be mentally prepared to know if I'm going to go to the big shopping area and what I'm going to be dealing with. If I know that I have the on-site mentality today, I'm not leaving my house. Why am I now going to get myself upset as well as upset someone else's day? Because already I'm on edge. Already I'm waiting for something to pop off. We can't do that. And that's what we're seeing in the mass with a lot of these police. It's just, I'm just waiting for a reason to now say this is why I'm a cop. And it's like, y'all forget y'all are to protect and to serve. You're here to serve. And I really believe they got that on the side of the squad car. But don't nobody meditate on that you're here to serve. You're not here to lord over me that you wear blue. You're here to serve. And when you're here to serve, that means you keep things calm as long as you can until really it's just not calm anymore. But you're not here to incite the situation.
Pastor Steph, I wanna address something real quick. I know you see it. I'm seeing a lot of comments on the side because I pull up my comments, and I see someone on the name Jubaka. First of all, thank you.
Hold on, let me read this. Let me read the comments first. Let me read the comments first.
Yeah, because I have some things.
For those who may not be able to see it. So Jew says, go walk into some stranger's house and see how on edge you are. Go be a cop. Then if you know what to do in every situation while it's happening. Haha, people like you are ridiculous. You have an opinion because you have the benefit of hindsight. I would have done this. No, you wouldn't. You say that because you've had time to think about it. Go be a cop. Then you sound so brave. You don't view a mentally unstable person with a boiling pot of water as a threat. Haha, your logic is so flawed. But it's okay. We won't see it the same way. And that's where we stand. We are not sarcastic in this room. I'm sorry. She wasn't waiting for them to ask her to go to the stove, so she couldn't be a weapon. She was unstable, and you have no way of predicting their behavior. She could have had the thought of throwing it. Absolutely, the thought. Okay. When she was over there, so the family is looking for money now. The family is looking to gain financially and exploit her death. Again, you have the advantage of hindsight. Vivian, go be a cop. Then, since you remain so calm under pressure and don't view threatening things as a threat, Ainsley says there was a proper police procedure not adhered to. Make sure the premises outside and inside was secure and safe while keeping the officers safe. The guy made a mistake and it cost 2 lives. That's why being a cop is thankless. All the while knowing that this is Jew, I'm sorry. All the while knowing that if you don't react first, then you're the one getting buried. Can we acknowledge that turning off the stove doesn't mean pick up what's on the stove and take it off? It means turn it off. Why would you need to take boiling water off the stove? It's not going to overcook. That's what you need to be asking the officer. All she had to do was turn the knob to turn it off. When did directing someone to turn off the stove entail picking up what's on the stove? It means turn the dial off. So you have to be reactionary to the use of a weapon against you before you can defend yourself. Can't be proactive in defense according to y'all. Shantice is reaching. Nobody picks up a pot if someone says to turn off the stove. And if you move to a different burner, you don't grab it with 2 hands and face away from the stove. Shantice, go be a cop. Then, since you're so brave. Oh, Lord, we got a whole lot of comments here. He was having a whole big conversation while we were talking.
Yes, sir.
Shantice, you've got all the answers and would react perfect in every situation. So go be a cop. Show how it's done and how not to be scared. Shantice, you're so ignorant now, talking about police training when you have no clue. Then go be a cop. Long hours, super stressful. The things you see and deal with on a daily basis, you are out of line to call them scared. They say they're scared.
Womp, womp, womp.
People like you are disgusting. Go be a cop. Guaranteed you wouldn't last a minute. Why won't anyone acknowledge the fallen state of society? To people they deal with are legit threats and low lives more times than not. You so busy writing, you ain't heard me say 9 times I wouldn't be a cop because these people are crazy. So there's a thing called attrition and pattern recognition. They're human. I've noticed, especially in the Black community and those that identify with the left ideology, have nothing but negative to say about cops and how they need to do this or that, but none of you. See, now you're moving into a bad spot, brother.
You ain't about that life, Jew.
Whatever, do that job because you know who you know you couldn't. Right. First, raise my hand. I can't do the job. But you still feel compelled to talk from a position of authority like you know what's best. Ainsley says it's part spirit cultural. The officer was clearly alarmed when she said in Jesus' name. Someone who goes to church would not be offended and feel threatened by that. Absolutely disgusting. Shantice, if you've never been a cop, how can you speak to what temperament a cop should have? This is peak ignorance. So aggravating hearing people like Shantice talk. All right. So
I'm rattling in that spirit.
I was first.
No, that's what I said. Brother Al, you were up, but we have officially read all the comments.
All the comments, absolutely. So first, I would like to say to Jude, thanks for coming on. And we all have our freedom of speech. So number one, first and foremost, you saying about turning off the stove. Number one, they shouldn't have never told her to get up to turn the stove off. That's number one. Number two, you don't know what goes on in our community. See, when a cop stop you all handy. When a cop stops me, I don't know if I'm going to live or die. Okay? You saying they humans. Yeah, they are human. Don't take the job if you're scared. It's about scaring her, because they could have just tased the woman if they felt that way. It was no reason to shoot her down. Now, I bet you if the cops was in your community killing your people, you would understand. But you don't understand on our side, because this is what's going on to us. I see my people get shot down all the time because they went into the wrong house, or I thought he had a gun. How many other race do you see them do that to? None. So you can't sit back and say, hey, listen, this is that, this and that, because you will never understand, because you're not on our side. We get shot up all the time, brother, all the time, off nonsense. So I agree.
Here's the problem. Thank you, Brother Al. Here's the problem. I was hoping it wouldn't go there. You know why? Because it didn't happen.
He took it there.
That's what I'm saying. Now he's now saying, stop with the black BS. He brought that up. He brought up race. And I was really hoping, I'm going to be straight up honest, I was hoping we could have gotten through this conversation just with right and wrong. That's all. Again, a matter of opinion, where you say everybody has, and you've been very insulting. I'm going to be very honest with you. I personally sat and read all of those back to back. You have been very insulting. And we have not been insulting. It's a matter of opinion. They have verbally said themselves that they're scared. They want to make it home. That precipitates, I'm scared. I'm sorry. I want to make it home, because they're saying it's unstable out here. You said try to be a cop. No, just like you said, no. I have already said, just like this. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm not made for surgeon material. I am made for surgeon material. I'm not trying to be a surgeon, because right now I'm not trained to do what they do. I have been on the table personally, and the surgeon says I went in for one thing, and now I had to do something else before I could even take care of that. I'm not made for that life. And all we're saying is, this is what happens in the world. He said he was afraid. That's what he said. And it's funny, because Pastor Cal was the one who brought up Monday that it wasn't until, and we've talked about this before when the situation happened, that he initially, in the initial story he told the cop, he said when she started calling on the name of Jesus is when he felt his life was threatened. That's what he said. So then we get the boiling water thing. So whether it was what she verbally said, he's shaking in his boots at the name of Jesus, what he said, or he felt that with her having the pot in her hand, she posed a threat. We don't agree that is a threat. You heard me correct Al. Al says, well, if you got a pot of water, that's a weapon. Okay, I can't tell you it's not a weapon, but I can tell you it doesn't pose a threat if I don't motion towards you. So unfortunately, this is where we are.
Oh, I wish you could pull him up. Jesus.
Okay.
I wish you could pull him up.
Okay. All right. So wait. I can't listen to this black are victims. You brought that up. Of cops' narrative. Look at the statistics. Blacks are less likely to be shot by cops than whites on average. Isn't that what you said, Al? Okay. Such ignorant people talking with emotions and not facts. Blacks have more interactions with cops because they break more laws. These body cams and how belligerent blacks act with cops.
Better look up.
So now we understand why you're defending the cops.
Absolutely.
If they're so afraid of cops, why are they so aggressive and violent toward them? When 5% of a population commits 60% of violent crimes, they are a legit threat to any society. They provide nothing of value to any society. Name one country that got better the darker their demographics got. Name one area where blacks excel. Ainsley says, Jew, you're now making racial comments that are 1,000% inaccurate. No need to continue this conversation with you. Thank you, Ainsley, because I've said, once I finish reading this, There is no conversation with you. Chatis, do not block him. Let him say whatever he is whatever it is he wants to say.
No,
But unfortunately, this has turned to be very ignorant on your end and insulting. And that's something we don't do here. Whether we're Christian or unchristian, we do not insult. We never brought up the fact that he was white and she was black. So you got 5 panelists here who never brought up the white or black issue. You've got Ainsley there, whoever else who wants to bring up whether they're and that's why I said I was hoping it would never go there, because right now it doesn't matter whether he's white or black, because we have black people who do things that shouldn't be done as well. But no, we're not going.
but you
We're not
know,
going to play this game. We're not going
but
to
you
play
know
this
what's
game.
funny? And Ainsley brought it up too. And Pastor Steph, you kept reiterating it to prove what everyone was saying. Whether I called on Jesus' name, Mitch's name, Michael's name, I'm calling on the name of Jesus. The verse that I have been compelled to say to people, and anytime I say it, I see value as feathers, the verse that says, test the spirits. Test the spirits. Calling on the name of Jesus is testing the spirits. That's why he got scared. Because that demonic spirit that was there could not handle hearing the name of Jesus. So now I got to shut down the person who's calling on the name of Jesus. That's the mentality. Testing the spirits. You start getting insulted in these comments because the spirits are being tested. And now, like we see with humans, you have to deflect. So what's the quickest way to deflect? You now talk about race. If you really want to talk about race, and if you're a Jew, pull up the statistics as to who's really running the criminal underworld right now. It ain't the blacks, sir. It's not the blacks, sir. It's the Jews, sir. And whether or not it's the blacks, the Jews, the orange, or the purples, we understand that we're really dealing with powers and principalities. We're not dealing with what's ultimately being seen. Like Pastor Steph said, that's why it didn't matter, and no one cared on this panel to say, well, he was orange and she was purple. Well, he was white and she was black. Because ignorance is ignorance.
Right.
Because scared is scared. Because
Right.
calling on the name of Jesus is calling on the name of Jesus. If a Muslim right now was to call on the name of Jesus, it wouldn't matter that they're Muslim. They're calling on the name of Jesus. And anytime you now start getting to where you're speaking the truth, anyone who's against the truth will start acting ignorant. And this is exactly what was being shown right now within this story and within these comments. So while you thinking you spitting facts, those who have ears to hear and eyes to see knows what it really is. And it's really sad, because this is why these people are taking on these jobs, because they need to prove something to themselves. And what they're ultimately proving is that they're not equipped for this. And this is why a lot of people, unfortunately, in society would rather handle situations on their own, because now calling in the people who are supposed to come and diffuse the situations are now helping it to get to a level where it doesn't need to be.
Well said, Shanti. I'm so proud of you.
That's Jesus working on me.
Is it my turn yet? Is it my turn yet?
Hell
Yes.
yeah.
All right. So let's go this way. I'm not trained as a cop. No, I don't want to be a cop, but I'm trained in the Holy Ghost. I'm trained with discernment. When my niece Shantice was speaking, scriptures try the spirit, by the spirit, and then see if it's of God. There's a whole line there. See, after you try this spirit, you have to see if it's of God. Everything that you're saying is nothing of God. There's nothing positive of God. The devil and God can't dine in the same atmosphere. It's almost like a buzzard and an eagle. The higher the eagle gets, even when the buzzard tries to pick at an eagle, he can't breathe in the same atmosphere. After a while, the buzzard has to fall down. So you stay on the ground with all that with all the crumbs that we're going to soar as eagles. Because the one thing that we have God. And once we have God, we have the truth. And the truth will always set you free. You just bound. And you're trying to use this platform because there's a bunch of us's on here. But
Mhm.
we're the intelligent us's. You know, we are anointed us's. And that's dangerous. When you get a bunch of black folks who, one, are intelligent, two, who are anointed, three, are rooted in the word of God, we're dangerous. Listen, they say that three car fall is hard to break. There's five of us. Five of us. Are you really coming for us? Choose your seat and sit down.
Mm. All righty. Viv, you been silent?
Silent.
I mean, he started off with saying, "Have we watched the footage?" And I have sat here and watched several different footages of what happened. So if we're talking about facts, nothing we have said has been wrong or racial, just facts. Point
Right.
blank, period. Point blank,
Right.
period. But I don't see a point in having a conversation with the person who says the blacks or blacks. So once that's said, we already know where you stand.
Right. Right.
Nothing was said that was emotional. Everything we spoke was facts, maybe opinionated, but facts at the end of the day. Going off of what we saw on the footage. Me as a person, like it was said, I know I can't handle the job as a police officer. So I don't go there. When you're in positions that make you make decisions like what he made, then that's not the job for you. And I'm
Mhm.
sure he has been in these positions before. Or if you haven't, you have heard what it's like to be a police officer and what you might come up against. And if you felt as though you could not handle it, then you should not have taken that position. But because you took that position, you also took the responsibility of making wiser decisions in times like this. And nothing in that footage showed a threat. Because when she ducked down, she put the pot down. She did not still have the pot in her hand. The pot was sitting on the counter and she was down ducking for cover and you shot her. Where's the threat? So when you accept the position of being a police officer, you accept the position and the responsibility that comes with it, which means you have to have more discernment when it comes to situations like this. It cannot be, I just got to make it home, to the point to where you're making decisions to take someone's life that is not a threat. So it all comes down to discernment. If that was your feelings, you should not have been in that position, meaning you should not have taken the job of a police officer. I have worked in positions as a teacher, working with special needs kids who are aggressive. I understand that lifestyle is not for me. I'm not going to stay in that
Oh
position.
yeah.
Right.
And then now
Right.
making decisions, a child comes after me and I'm beating up the kids and slapping the kids. No, I realize that is not for me. So I'm going to move to somewhere where I'm more able to do a better job, to where I'm keeping myself safe and I'm keeping the children in my care safe. I'm not going to stay in that if I see that is not for me. So that's how I'm closing it.
Absolutely.
It's just common sense, make better decisions. And he did not make the right one.
You know, it's funny you brought up the school thing, Viv, because as Pastor KL was talking, I said to myself, we always have an option of bowing out. Nothing, nobody's angry that you're afraid or scared. In my opinion, it's a very natural thing. And that's why
Mm-hmm.
I said I'm not raising my hand to be a cop because I understand that this world out here is very unstable. And if they're unstable, now I have to be calm and it keeps me unstable because I don't know what I'm up against. And unfortunately, I don't know how many people have actually thought that through. So go back to the teacher thing as you were talking, as Pastor Cal was talking. And I said to myself, I said, okay, so I said, I want to be a teacher. When I get into this classroom and I see that I don't have any patience, that I'm ready to hit one of these kids. We did a story where the woman was throwing the kid up in the air, and she didn't catch the kid when the kid came down, and the kid landed on the floor and was injured, had a head injury. So, as an onlooker, should we not say she didn't make a good decision by throwing a child up in the air and running the risk that she would not catch this child? She was playing. She was playing with the child, took the child, threw it up in the air, and when the child came down, he came down on her head. Both of them fell backwards. She hit her head, the child hit its head, and now the child is permanently injured. So, as onlookers, do we not have the right to say she didn't make the right decision without it being black and white, without it being this one is the Spanish people, they don't know how to work with kids, and the Honduran ones work better with the kids? It's irrelevant at that point. As onlookers, we have the ability and the right to assess what we're doing is incorrect. There's nowhere in the world you're going to tell me you thought as a nursery school daycare teacher it was okay to throw this child 6 feet up in the air. There's no way. No way. It has nothing to do with money. Plain and simple. So now we shouldn't assess what the cops do or how the cops behave. It's done every day in every profession. Let a doctor make a wrong decision. People are going to challenge that decision, even if it was the first time he or she made the decision. And I'm going to tell you something. I'm proud of you all. I'm be honest, because we never, ever, ever mentioned race dynamic, age dynamic, demographic. We just challenged who, as a cop, the decision was made. Had nothing to do with anything else. And I really applaud y'all for that. And it takes a lot to actually do this without going in the black and white direction, because a lot of people, that's where they're going.
Obviously.
But for the right, but for the there was integrity here, and right and wrong was the only things on the table. So although other people may not look at it as something that was positively done, it was positively done and done well. So like Vivian said, we saw the video. Vivian sat and watched the video so that she can give an opinion on what we're talking about based on what she saw.
Right.
So, we have to, that's the integrity of this channel, like Pastor KL said, and that's where we'll stand. Ketty said, yes, I'm proud of the Due Time crew for being respectful. And we always are, so we get a lot of very disrespectful comments here, and Shantice has to knock it out. And so that's why I said, don't block him. Don't block him. Like Vivian said, he started off well, just talking. And then unfortunately, we moved into a very, very negative opinion and comments. So, Due Time crew, as always, thank you so much for your comments and your contribution to this conversation. We pray you have a blessed day.
Yes,
Thank you.
indeed.
Safe travels, Pastor
I am proud of my brothers and sisters as well.
Amen. Okay, so we have facts where they're opinion based. We have opinion based facts, according to, our commenter, the things that he has said that were insulting were facts. And, when you insult an entire race of people, it's no longer facts. Because, I say the same thing to women when they say all men are dogs. And I say to them, a lot of women because not every woman, but a lot of women have, and we talked about that earlier with, I think it was Keisha, stay with the man who was abusive. And a lot of us run up, and accept men who are not respectful and men who are not, do not treat us right. But we cannot make a blanket statement and say all men are dogs. Because I challenge them and say, well, what does that say about God? Did God not give us options when he made man? So now every single man is a dog. There's no fact to that. There's no fact in that. You could never make a global statement and it be fact. No. So, we're not here today to challenge who does the most crime. And here's what I find interesting. We never said the majority of cops. We never said one race of cops. We never said one set of cops in a demographic. It was a focused conversation. And we do not do God any justice, any glory when we blanketly say that one group of people can bring down an entire world. I'm sorry, because a lot of things are done that we never hear about. And I will venture to say that one of the things is our contribution into this society. We would have never heard of all the contributions that the African American people have made if we didn't do the research. Just because we didn't hear about it doesn't mean that it hasn't happened. So when we make global statements, what are we saying? Because we haven't heard about it. When we made the statement that said, I just want to make it home, is what they say, because that's what we've heard tons of times. This broadcast has been 6 years and change. And over the 6 years, that's a global statement. We want to make it home. We're afraid and we want to make it home. And I have to honestly say, they have a lot to be afraid of. They have a lot. They have to make judgment calls on things that they really don't know what's going on. They have to make snap judgment calls based on what they see at that time and hope and pray that they make it right. This is why the word discernment came up, because you can't walk into a situation and not have a good discernment. And it doesn't mean that you're only looking at it as good, meaning you're able to really weigh out what you're looking at. It is very challenging when you walk up. We talked the other day about I think last week, Vivian's wow story was the cops rolled up to a closed mall and saw two men there just walking around, and they asked, what's going, hey guys, what are you doing, what's going on here? And they said, oh, nothing, we're just looking around. And their discernment said, hey, let's do our own research to see what they could be doing. That's what is being spoken about today. Their judgment that said, hey, that discernment that said, we don't know if we want to believe this. So they could have walked off. And I said it that day. I said they could have easily took what the people were saying. They looking around, they see nothing but emptiness, silence, and they could have said, well, ain't nothing going on here as far as we see. It wasn't that they saw something and then they saw the men and thought that they were linked. They saw nothing. They saw the men. So cops at all times are walking into situations where they have to make a quick call, and they better pray that call is right. And honestly, it's no real difference than any other profession. It's just a more costly decision. Follow what I'm saying? I just got finished saying I got off the table several times with the surgeon that pretty much knew me, my insides, my intestinal area. And he said, every time I open you up, I go in for one thing and I see something else. He has to make a judgment call at that time. He has to make a decision that says, you know what? I know I experienced this thing with Mary or John, but I can't handle Stephanie this way. I have to handle Stephanie a whole different way. A lot of pilots, Pastor Kelly's about to get up in a plane. There are times when pilots have to make a judgment call, not because they have been faced with it before, but because right on the spot, there are things. So this is something we do every day as people. We have to make judgment calls. And sometimes it's more costly than others. For the police, it is always costly. Firemen, Shanti's brought up firemen and EMTs, very costly decisions. And all of us, from the time we start jobs, from the time we pick careers, I have known people who have invested. I know a young man who is now an interior decorator. I hear he does, beautiful work. So I said to him, wait a minute, weren't you going to school to be a veterinarian? He had completed 4 years of being a veterinarian. He said, Steph, he said, after the 4th year, I realized that was not for me. And I had to make a decision. Am I going to allow this 4 years? Because I think he said he had to do 9 years in total. Was it a veterinary or a pediatrician? One of the two. And he said he had to do 9 years in total, but 4 years in, he realizes that this ain't for me. And he took that money that he must pay back, and he made the decision to go in another direction. That's always saying about a cop. That's always saying about a firefighter. That's always saying about a teacher. That's always saying about a forklift driver. That's always saying about a janitor. If you understand that what you're experiencing and what you're feeling is not going to go away, is a byproduct of the job. And that's how because there's some people who have been police officers for over 20 years and they're fine. But if you find that it is not for you and you are not equipped to make certain decisions, I don't care what the profession is, then you need to bow out. Before you make the wrong decision, I brought up the teacher who we saw the video of her throw the child up in the air. You threw this kid up in the air? Nah, not with my kid. Not with somebody else's child. You threw caution to the wind, playing, and it ended up being a very costly decision. That's not the job for you. We've watched some teachers on video throw things at children. We had a video where the woman was throwing and took off her shoe and threw the shoe at the child. When you get to that point, teacher is over for you. Because your decisions are no longer the best decisions for who you are dealing with. There is no profession where you need to pick up your shoe and throw it at a person, much less a baby. This was in a daycare. So she took off her shoe, she got mad, and she threw the shoe over at the child. No, you need to quit your job. So if we can't handle what it is we've chosen to do, then we really need to rethink this thing globally. So that leads me to who has chosen this profession? Is it you or is it God? You've heard me talk about suffering, my personal feeling when God called me to be a pastor. I told God, I'm not doing that. I heard him as clearly as you hear me speaking to you right now. I looked up and said, no, thank you. I'm not doing that. And where am I now? For 14 years, I've been pastoring, and 10 years almost, I've been an ordained pastor. Who's making the decision for you? Are you making the decision? Because I have found that in my 30 years of professional work, this has been the most reward, or has it been the most draining, but it has been the most rewarding. And that's what God knew when he called me for this position, that I would be a person that could be used if I positioned myself, that I would be a person that would be good at it if I positioned myself to do so, that I would not run off scared if I positioned myself not to. So I don't care whether you're a janitor, I don't care whether you're an astronaut. Who called you to the position you are walking in? Because that makes the difference. Will you always do it right? No, not at all, because none of us are perfect. But there is a level of satisfaction. There is a level of safety you feel, and calm and peace you feel. So if a Christian person is a cop or a CO, doesn't mean that they don't go into that job every day thinking about what could be. No, but what it says is they go into that job prayerfully, open-minded, and they know they can get the job done because God is by their side. When we don't take God with us, we can't do everything. That's why I do not believe when parents tell you you can be anything you want to be. No, they can't. If I'm not good at math, I'm not going to be a good scientist. I'm not going to be a good doctor. I'm not going to be a good nurse. I can't be a good accountant. So stop telling your children they can be whatever they want to be. Because if you're not a good mathematician, there's a whole lot of jobs you won't qualify for, no matter how much you want to do this thing. There are certain things that we're not going to be able to do. I tell you right now, I teach the Bible. Teachers, I applaud you. I commend you. I honor you, because it ain't me. I give my props to the police officers. I give my props to the firefighters. I give my props to the EMTs. I give my props to a whole lot of people, pilots. You got your props from me, because it's not a Stephanie thing. But I'm trusting that if you are in these positions, that you will make the best decisions, that fear does not drive what you do. And unfortunately, there was a level of fear here that did not supersede, the fear superseded making the right decision. Now, I'm going to challenge this. If you thought that the hot water posed a threat, if I give that to you, are you telling me you couldn't have shot her in the leg? Are you telling me you couldn't have shot her in the arm? How did you manage to shoot to kill? Because that pot of water, if you felt posed a threat, it didn't pose that level of a threat that disarming her in any way would not have gotten the job done, and you would have gone home safe. Brother Al challenges why you couldn't tase her. Very good question. Because you don't really have to necessarily even be up on the person within a certain proximity for that taser to even work. Why wasn't that an option? All we're challenging is, was there a better option? Now let's go to this family that really stimulated this conversation. And our family in the chat room challenged that. He's now gone. You knew when he went to jail and when he had the trial, it came out that he was sick. When he was sentenced, you knew he was sick. When he got that 20 years and he started the jail bid, he was sick. You knew that when he made the motion or the lawyer put in for him to come out because he was that ill. You can only be that ill in order to be considered, and I read it, to even come out. So you saying we fought to keep him in. You knew how ill this man was. He was at a third stage cancer for colon, and he was at fourth level cancer for 2 other areas of his body. How long did you even think this man would live? Period. I don't care what color he is. I don't care what profession he was. He went into a sentence at 3rd and 4th degree cancer. Now, if we all know you don't want to get sick in jail, because guess what? You're not going to get the proper treatment. And that's one of the reasons why they were making the appeal for him to come out. Because now you can go back and forth to the doctors. Now you can get hospice, and they're making you comfortable. You know, none of that was going on in jail, which is why they were asking. And the judge said no. So the judge renders this decision. You got what you wanted because you said you tried to keep him in jail. Well, you won. Now you mad because he's no longer here. Where's the logic in that? I agree completely with Pastor Brenda. God had the final say, because he could have. We've done stories here where they were about to start the sentence and they died. They were about to start the sentence and they killed themselves. So there was absolutely no jail time at all. Now you're mad because he didn't serve a fraction of the sentence. Well, guess what? He did. He did serve a fraction of the sentence. His sentence wasn't jail. His sentence was death. That's what sickness at that level does. You will eventually die. And the worse stage you're in, the quicker it is that you will die. I'm not saying he should have died, he shouldn't have died. Well, what I'm saying is I'm listening to a family who was very unhappy with the fact that this man went to jail, stayed in jail while he was sick, and that still is not enough. There is nothing that will ever be enough. Now, Jude claims you're at this now to go for some money. You can't get no money. And I personally don't hear money. But if that is the case, what money are you going after? Because everything you went for, you got. So were you happy that he was found guilty? Yes, you were happy he was found guilty. You may not have been happy with the 20 years and thought maybe he should have gotten life, or he should have gotten 50, 60 years. Maybe you weren't happy with that. But here's the interesting part. And while we always talk and say God loves justice, because we don't know the sentence that God has for our lives and the consequences that he has put into place, or consequences that he will allow. Because the Bible tells us that he doesn't have to touch things at times. He just steps back. So here you have it, where you thought he should have done 30 years. Let's say for argument's sake, you say, well, you know what? He's 32 years old. You know, in 20 years, he'll be 52. He'll still have a chance at life. No, he didn't. Oh, he needs to do 50 years. He needs to do life. He just did. I'm not clapping at the fact that he died. I'm clapping at who God is. And we've been talking about this more recently, that, you know, we talk about the sentence, but does God have another sentence? He did life. So when you give someone life in jail or prison, whatever they call it, that means you'll never come out again. You'll never, ever, ever live life as you have, as other people would. Well, didn't he do life in jail? It may have been a short one, but it was life nonetheless. So family, you kind of got what you wanted. Stop looking a gift horse in the mouth. You got what you wanted. Stop pushing. You need to make, you have to, settle. That's what I want to say. You're going to have to settle with the fact that mom died unjustly. Because I'm going to tell you something. If Jews said they're after money, that money they should have been after from a long time ago for the shooting that they feel that didn't have to take place. So maybe that's already on the board. Because let me tell you something. White or black, they going for the money. You let something like that happen to your family, you going for the money. Because if you feel, remember, they have civil lawsuits that go on all the time for people who have been found not guilty in criminal court. They still go behind and they go for civil court money. So it doesn't necessarily mean that they have not gone for money already, because they haven't been happy from the beginning. But at this point, family, settle in with what God has allowed to happen, because nobody can do anything about this now. As Tamika said, you can't unbury him and put him in jail. He got life. And it may not be the way you would have wanted it to be. It may be, like you said, he did only a fraction of the sentence. Maybe not if you look at it on a spiritual side. Maybe not if you look at it on a spiritual level. Stop asking for more. Stop asking. Because God has rendered what he has wanted to happen. He has allowed what he has wanted to happen. And if we look at it a certain way, we got exactly what we wanted as a family. You said we wanted to keep him in jail. You did, until he died. That's what you wanted. You wanted him in jail until he died. It just happened a whole lot quicker. So there you have it. Are we getting from God what we really want, but because it doesn't look a certain way to us, we're unhappy? And that's man. That's people. It don't have the look we wanted to have, and we're unhappy now. Well, I want to remind you that God loves justice. God is not a God that would not render justice in all cases. That's why he tells you, don't worry about vengeance, because I got the plan. I got how it's going to go down. Whether I render that or whether I allow it, at the end of the day, it is still my sovereign will that will reign, whether you see it or not. So let's settle in to what God has and just kind of swallow it and call it a day and try to get on God's page, because that's the only thing that's going to bring you peace right now. Massey family, find that peace, but that peace can only be found in the Lord. You've been watching It's Due Time with Pastor Steph. Join us Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. where we discuss matters of the heart, mind, and spirit. As you go through your day, be sure to set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on the earth. They will only serve as a distraction. Remember, prayer changes things. It's Pastor Steph signing off, and I want to thank my Due Time crew for always coming through big time. Thank you for hanging out with us every day you do and helping us to keep that chat room alive. Please do not miss this opportunity to give your life to the Lord right now. Right now. Please do not miss this opportunity to strengthen that relationship in the Lord right now, because later is not promised to any of us. Until tomorrow, God spares, where it's Freestyle Friday and we get to do whatever it is we want to do. Until then, God spares, I love you.